Hello, welcome back to the Games Kingdom. My name is Carl King and today we're going to be taking a look at Token Sesame. Now Token Sesame is a product by Cloud Puncher Games and it is a tabletop organizer. Basically what this is, in its multitude of forms, is somewhere for you to keep your gaming table tidy. So this will store your components, your cards, your resources, allow you to roll dice because it's got an inbuilt dice tray that you can have, and you can put this together in a multitude of ways, as you can see some of them on the box. So you've got a carousel, which is what I'm going to be showing you today. You've got a sort of long strip of individual component trays here. You've got a staircase, you've got a snake walker, and then you've got a smaller individual bowl. So on the back of the box it again shows you these individual ways of putting it together. So it's a multitude of sort of combinations that you can put these things together, some of which I'm still to sort of discover. But as you can see, there are some on the back of the box. So again, the carousel, the staircase, the walker, the long bar. You've got a personal card holder system. Now, not just in that way, but also I'll show you how you can do that in the carousel as well. You've got personal mini banks. So if your players need to manage their resources throughout the game, keep them in individual areas so they know what they have to maybe spend or use or sort of pay things off with during the game, you can make up these little sort of areas and give them to your players to use as individual sort of storage areas. Again, you can see here that there is the dice tray. This is where the card system comes in, and then you've got many more. So as it says on the box, one system, 1,000 forms. So let's have a look at the form that I have here, and this is how the actual system comes in the box. So it comes made up like this, doesn't have the plates on, but it comes made up like this, and you get the smaller one as well. So this sort of piece in the middle is removable, and then you can just literally sort of line up the holes again and it becomes very sturdy. And then what you can do here is you can put your decks of cards into these slots here, and you can still use the outer rim here for storing components, but you know, you're going to get a lot of cards, you know, very thick decks of cards you can get in here. Obviously at the minute you can only do 3, but if you have one of the other combinations you might be able to make them up and make some sort of longer component areas where you can store more decks of cards, and also you can use them as your own individual sort of card deck holders. So you can sort of put your cards in here like so, but mostly this central piece here is going to be for your cards. So as I say, that will come off. You also, in this central area, can have it as a nice little dice tray, and you can just chuck your dice in and away you go. You've got a very nice decent area there for, you know, quite a lot of dice that you can roll in there. And in games you know, where you're maybe got several players rolling dice, different coloured dice to do something, that's quite a big area. You can all fit, you know, quite a decent amount of dice in there. So you can have that, and you can have those individually like so, but then obviously, you know, you can take that out. You then get to put in your main carousel. So you've got a sort of central column, and you can adjust the height of these because obviously you've got so many of these different sort of legs stroke column pieces, and you've got this to go on the top, and then you've got your main thing here. So this one stays and this one will swivel round, so you know when you've got these little trays you can fill them up with your different game components. You can put them all in the trays here and it will keep your pieces nice and secure. Stick a few coins in, so that will spin round and your players can take them. These ones, as I say, these ones are a bit more, you know, but again, you know, you can move that round and they will spin round as well. So you can have that sitting in the middle of your table like so. Now obviously with that at the minute, if you're going to roll dice in this central piece, you're going to be rolling it on something that doesn't have a mat. So what I've done is, because I've got two of those particular neoprene mats, I've taken one of them and I've put a small hole in the middle. And I've sort of done that myself, just using a little pair of scissors, and then sort of screwing this down, and then you can put this back on. Now currently this isn't an option that you get to buy, but for me, and I have had this where I've done it and this has been solid. Obviously I've not tightened that up very well, but then you've got your thing there and you can still use it as the dice tray. So for me, if I was doing another print run of these, what I'd potentially look at sort of suggesting is that the manufacturers punch a small hole where that little diamond is and then have it done so that it is able to go in there and usable as the dice tray. But with a proper punched hole, it will be even more sturdy than the one that I've done, because obviously at the minute I've got it screwing down onto the mat itself, whereas if there was a hole big enough to let the column go through, it would be on the sort of proper surface that it should be. But for me, I think you know, I'm going to try and do that certainly for some of the games where we need a dice tray, as well as sort of looking at and sorting out components. So again, it's not too difficult to just take all of this apart, take this all out, you take that back out again if you don't want that, and then if you want this piece back in, that will go in, that slides in, and then like so, and then again you've got your areas for your cards and they will sit in there, and you can still use these outer trays for your components as well as the top ones. So you can even store the dice in there, so if you wanted to, and then people could take the dice out of there and just roll them on the table. But as I say, there's a multitude of ways that you can sort of use just this carousel form. So what we'll do, we'll take this back off and we'll show you. If we tip all of these components out, just move that to one side. So I told you about these sort of trays. So you get a set of plates with the initial sort of component itself, the initial token sesame, and to take them on and off, you literally just unclip them. So you push these up and they come off like so, and then you can change them round and they literally just push back into the holes and slot back in, and they're completely locked. Simply with that slotting system. So as I say, you get a set with the Token Sesame itself. You can buy other boxes. So this is as you can see, a sort of nautical themed one where you've got sort of the Kraken and various different sort of sea monsters attacking ships. So if you're playing things like maybe like Armada or other games of sort of seafaring type games, you could put these on instead and theme it to your particular game that you're playing. And as I say, for each one of these you also get another spare neoprene mat, so that comes in there. And these little individual things are very reasonable for what they are. You get some nice, they are very nicely done, the artwork's lovely on all of them. As I say, there's different themes, but obviously what else can you do other than the carousel? Well, this is the booklet, so it shows you all of the components. So again, we'll give you a nice picture there of some of the different forms that you can put them in, and as you can see here, it's showing off more of the different types of plates and the artwork that you can purchase as a separate box set. You've got a list of components here, so it will give you everything that you get in the main box, and then it will tell you how to first off build the carousel. So you will put all of those components together. They do come off, there's a base for each of them, so they all come off, and then you get these little components and you just literally put them together and they slot lovely. So you build up your two sort of trays. You get some O-rings and you get some other bits and pieces to keep them sturdy, and then it literally continues on the back. So you continue to build and you finish up with your carousel, and again you can have that carousel with that central piece in or not, as you see fit. Then it tells you how to build the staircase. So again, you've got all of these different components, so all of these little individual sections also come apart using the same system where you just sort of slot them in, but you can take them all apart and then you put them back together again in these sort of straight pieces. And then you also get some side clips, and they will go on and it will allow the concertina of the staircase to be sort of performed, and then you can put that all together, and there is a nice velvet bag which you also get, and you can store, if you wish, the staircase in there. If you're going to store it as the carousel, then you can either use it in the box or just keep them loose. I'll probably just sort of keep that as the carousel and keep that in the box. So that's the staircase. Then you can add the legs if you want to add legs to lift those up. So it shows you how to do the legs, and basically the legs, as I said, are just the central column split down, they all come apart, and then you just fit them in as the legs. And then you've got here the sort of travel mode, so that's where you slot it all together and put it in the bag. You've also got other configurations here, so you've got the walker, so you can again put the legs on the trays themselves to raise them off the table. You've got the layered staircase, you've got the long bars, so basically just two long sections sort of interchangeable back to back to make two long strips. You've got the rolling tray, so you can have that separately. You've got table corners, you've got the mini staircase, so that's just a couple put together. So you've got sort of four small areas, but one raised up. You've got those little mini banks, which I said are for individual players to use and sort of manage the tokens. And then you've got what they call the snake walker. So there are many more ways that you can put this together, and you know, obviously if you purchase this or you've got one, you'll probably find out all of those different ways of putting them together and the uses as you go along. Another product that the manufacturers have also done is the box throne. So this is this also went to crowdfunding through Kickstarter, I believe. Very successful, as was obviously the Token Sesame. But this is a board game storage system, so you will buy your individual sections, and again you can put this together in tall sort of columns. You can have them, you know, in sort of bookcase form, and it's just a very nice upmarket version of, say, something like a Kallax or a sort of wooden bookcase type configuration. And as I say, these were done on a Kickstarter sort of campaign and was very successful as well. But yeah, this is Token Sesame. So I'm going to get this on the table fairly soon in some games. I'll take some pictures. I'm also going to do a written review, hopefully, for Everything Board Games magazine. So there'll be some pictures with that. But yeah, I've got other videos on my channel, but this is obviously the Token Sesame, and for me this gets the Games Kingdom Royal Seal of Approval. This will be very useful for a multitude of games in not only my collection, but when I'm playing with friends. I'll probably just keep this in the car and we'll bring this out as and when we need it. But yeah, we play a lot of games where there is a lot of resource and token management, so this is going to be an absolute boon to our game nights. So there you have it, Token Sesame by Cloud Puncher Games, and until we do another one of these, it's bye for now.